Hey everyone, welcome back to We Should Talk. Today, Megan and I will be talking about our past relationships and how our inner children and our protective parts have showed up in our current relationships and in our past ones. We'll also be giving you tips about what you can do if you have attachment wounds and they're currently showing up in your relationships. Let's dive in.
Hello.
Hello there, girly.
It's been a few weeks. So
Feels like
happy
it's
to
been
see
an
you.
eternity.
I
Yes.
know. I know. It's so glad to be back and to catch up. I know before we hit record, we're like trying to catch up. We're like, we need to wait to get into all the details as we hit record. But I know
Yes.
last we left you were heading on a trip, bringing your
Yeah.
nieces back. How did that go?
Oh my goodness. It felt like another life with five kids and all of
Yes.
them not in school. And now that all three of my kids are in school and
Oh
I only have
God.
three kids again,
Uh-huh.
wow. I'm a new me.
New person.
Yes,
I
yes. And
bet.
I don't know if you guys do this, but like whenever we travel, I know a lot of people do Airbnbs now, but
Mhm.
I used to work for the Marriott. So I kind of am loyal to Marriott. So I have a lot of Marriott points.
Mhm.
And in the desert in the summertime, there's like no one ever there. So I was taking the girls back to Palm Springs where my brother lives.
Got
And
it.
it's so hot there. That's the dead time of year. And
Sure.
so I booked myself a room with my points at the Ritz Carlton in Palm Desert.
Nice.
Yes.
Yes.
So it was so dreamy. It was so nice. And my brother was not upset with me for doing that at all. He was like,
I'm sure.
please, like, go
I'm
take your
sure.
time. Like,
You need it.
I'm going to keep the girls with me. Like, you are not going to take them with you. And so I just really soaked it all in. And like, they did come swim at the pool for a little bit, but I just
Good.
got to work out every day and I ordered
Yeah.
freaking room service and just laid in the bed and the bed was so comfortable
Oh
and
my
I
God.
just allowed myself to take that time because kind of
Good
like
for
what we were
you.
talking about last week. Well, last time we did the podcast, which was a few weeks ago now, I guess,
Yeah.
or a couple weeks ago now, just that self-abandonment that comes up and just not caring for myself. And even
Yeah.
then when I do, I feel that guilt. And so
Guilty. Yeah. Mhm.
I did feel it come up from time to time, like they're here and I'm going to be only staying here for a few days and I'm not spending time with
Uh-huh.
them. But I was just like, you know what?
Sure.
But you need this. And so
Yeah.
just take it and enjoy
Yeah.
it. And it was
Right.
really nice.
Oh, I'm so glad that you allowed yourself to do that. It just sounds so dreamy and
Oh,
just so
yes.
just like, oh my God, the fantasy of having a whole hotel room to yourself for a few days. Room service
Yes.
just sounds like just what the tarot cards ordered for you last time.
It
So
really, yes, it really
I
was
love
needed.
it. Oh, I'm so glad.
Yes.
So glad.
Yeah.
And how did the boys do without you?
Okay, so before I left, so their first day of school was when I was gone, and I've never
Mm.
missed a first day of
Mm-hmm.
school before. And when I told them I was going to miss the first day of school when I originally planned this like a month ago, they were like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Like, who cares? None of them are like doing big new things, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
So it was kind of like, okay, that'll be fine. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
fine as long as the cousins get to stay. A couple days before I'm leaving, no,
Not
all was
okay.
not well at all. So
Uh-huh.
they
Yep.
were very upset. Could not, I had
Oh.
betrayed them full
Oh
on.
no.
Like I pretty much, they were orphans. So
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep.
they couldn't
Sure.
believe it. So that was kind of tough because I did feel horrible. And I was like,
I'm
I will never do
sure.
this again, but
I
you
know.
will be okay.
Be
You guys will
okay.
be
Right.
okay. Dad
Mm-hmm.
is here. My husband was off the
Dad's
whole
got it.
time I was gone. My sister came a couple days because when my husband was working, but he was off
Mm-hmm.
on all the days that they had school.
Oh,
And
good.
so I'm just like, Dad's got it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. He's got it. It's
he does.
it's honestly one of those uncomfortable moments where this is something new. Their usual
Yes.
safety net of you being there, I know had to be so hard. And the
Yeah.
fact that I'm sure they all moved through it and Dad's got it. And I'm sure it all turned out. You can tell us if it turned out a okay. or
It did turn out okay. And you know what? My husband did such a great job. He does such a good job when I have to leave and stuff. I don't have
Mhm.
to prepare him for anything.
Yeah,
Although I did have to like remind him, like, we have to have the first day of school pictures, and this is where the
obviously.
sign is.
Yes.
And then he did
Yes.
send me multiple pictures of my child with the sign, and half the sign was literally rubbed off. So I was like, okay, you didn't
Okay.
notice, but I'm like, just, it's okay. Like,
It's okay.
it's okay. It's totally fine. Like, I'm not gonna flip out, you know?
Yep,
So,
yep.
but I
Oh
did
boy.
just say, like, oh, honey, half of the sign is
Science.
wiped off.
Mm,
So,
may
but
need
he
to
took it
redo
again.
that when he gets home.
Yeah, he took it again
Yeah.
after school. And so
Good.
overall, everything worked out great. And he
Oh,
made biscuits and
good.
gravy for their first day,
Oh, yum.
and they all loved it. And
Love it.
so, yeah, it turned out great. And
Oh,
they,
good.
what you mentioned, they can, this is hard for me as mom. I don't know how you feel about it, but
Oh God,
it's
yeah.
hard for me to remember that it's okay for my
I
kids to
know.
struggle. It's okay
Right.
for my kids to have hard emotions or to feel like, let down by me, disappointed by
Hmm.
me in
Yep.
moments. And that's totally okay.
Right. It's totally okay because you know and trust that you're going to have that moment of return and repair and that you're always coming back and you're going to
Yes.
talk to them about how they feel. They're never going to be alone in it. It's going to be hard and you're making space for them to feel and to hear it
Yes.
and to attune to it and validate it. And that's the most important thing. So
Yes.
that's,
Yes.
yeah, such a good moment of growth. And that's one that over here, as we're about almost a month out before baby arrives. And my son is definitely very, 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 very attached. Just like literally any moment of separation is hard. And
Hmm.
so, having those same experiences pretty frequently of knowing
Yeah.
like, oof, okay, like my husband and I are working hard to know that like we have to start honestly like training a little bit more of the separation and letting
Yeah.
him reminding him he's okay. It's okay to be sad. And if I can't be there for I'm intentionally taking some nights to not do bedtime because
Okay. Okay. Because
I'm
last time
like,
we had talked about that
right,
too.
exactly. Ooh.
Yes.
And so
So how has the intentional not doing bedtime been going?
good. He's always fine if I'm like if I take space long enough before bedtime. Like if it's happening, like if one night I made a mistake to be like, all right, go get your jammies on. Dad'll do bedtime. I'm going downstairs, and that was not a
Oh,
great call because it was so close to it, and he could, he knew I was right here, that it did not happen
yes.
well. So we learned from that one that okay, let's prepare even well in advance. I'll say, right, we'll say goodnight to him. He'll maybe be in activity or watching a show and then transition to bedtime once like I'm already been out of the picture for a little bit. He's
Oh,
totally fine if that happens.
okay.
So we're working on it and
Good.
and
Yes.
making it, yeah, doing what we can to adjust as we're all of us are feeling the nerves and anticipation of how things are going to shift and change.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it hard for you? Because I know we've talked before about just like you not wanting to disappoint people a little bit,
Mhm.
or maybe that good girl part.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So is it hard for you when you feel like your son is disappointed?
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Even if it's something you know that is good
Yes.
for him, or that's not
Totally.
your fault per se, or nothing wrong that you did.
Yep. Yep. Oh yeah. For example, this morning I had a client scheduled early, and that's not my usual time, but like as I'm this month leading up to my leave, I'm fitting people in at more unusual times just to like make
Mhm.
sure we have time and space to have some sessions before I'm out. And I asked my husband like, okay, I'm the one driving him and dropping him off at the sitter on Thursdays, and I'm like, I need you to take it because I've got to do this session. And it was inconvenient for him and his work schedule. But I was like, yeah, thank you for taking it. And obviously, my son was a little upset that I was not going to be the one bringing him, and it was a whole thing. And so I come down to my office, and then my client had to reschedule the time. And I sat there and I was like, okay, what do I do here? I could take this hour and I could just do other work. I could do something else. And honestly, I think that was maybe the more healed version of me. I probably should have done that. I should
Mm.
have let myself like just go with the plan how it was. But then immediately I was like, but I could help, right? I know that my husband's got a meeting he's trying to get to, and he's stressed and rushing, and I could take him and it'd be okay. And this is what I did. I did go up and took him. And so that was the good go part coming out of not wanting to, inconvenience anyone and to take care of them. And, that was a moment where I made that choice. But I also knew that it's okay. I do have more space later in the day to take for myself or to do anything on my list that I need to do. But
Yes.
those moments of like, ooh, do I take it? Do I like take the thing for me, even though I
Yes.
don't have to? Working on it. But also, my husband right now is training for a marathon. He's
Oh,
running a
he is. Which
marathon.
one is he doing? Is he doing the one in
Chicago.
Chicago? Oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh. I heard that that one's kind of hard to get into because like you
Yeah,
have to do a lottery and stuff, right?
he's doing it through a charity. So raising
Oh,
money.
okay. Oh,
But
cool.
that is 1 month after baby arrives is this marathon. So
Oh.
it's been
How you feeling about that?
I'm supportive of it. My husband's
Yes.
really into it. He's doing great. Like he's found a really good community in the training. But at this moment in time, training is a lot, right? There's like a lot of runs that
Yes.
got to do,
Yes.
which is like me being almost 9 months pregnant and like having to navigate around that schedule. And this weekend he's running 17 miles on Saturday, which is a lot in itself. And
Oh.
of course, impacts you for the rest of the day. So
Yes.
with this, I've been very clear of like, Sundays are my day. That's the day that I'm going to just take. And
I
it's going to
love
be the
that.
day that I do whatever I want and take care of myself. So
Yes.
we're balancing there and being really
Good.
clear of I need that to just take and soak up this time of, any solo time that I can grab before everything changes.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Yes. And that's so important too. That alone has been life changing for my nervous system. Just being able to say, I need a day.
Yeah.
Like just because you're a parent, just because if you can take a day for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, you need to do that, especially
Yep.
when you're working or even if you're sitting at home. Like it
Yeah.
is exhausting. It's so
Yeah.
much.
So much.
Yeah. So
So
taking the day for
we're
yourself,
taking it.
I love
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
we're taking it. I don't know what I'm going to do this Sunday, but we'll report back next week on what I do.
Yes. I
So
can't
I'm
wait to
excited.
hear. Yes.
So
Yes.
good. So that's where we're at over here. And of course, physically, I'm like really feeling it this week. Like I think this babe has definitely gained some weight and is much heavier. My back is starting to really hurt, and we're just feeling it.
Has he dropped?
Whew.
You know, when they
I
drop and they're like
mhm,
right there, and you're
right
just like,
there.
oh
Yep.
my goodness. Yes.
He was very high for a long time, and yeah, the dropping is
Mm,
happening. So
which also is hard.
yeah, yes, yeah. So I'm just kind of
Yes.
waddling around and
The waddle.
just doing what I can. Literally trying to redecorate my entire house. I can't stop. It's pretty bad. Like
So you're nesting too, full on nesting.
yes, I am really nesting the crap out of this place to the point where I'm like, oh my god, okay. Like I've literally kind of done all the things that I had planned to, and I'm like still going. I'm like trying to find more, and I'm like, no, I don't need this right now. There is no urgency on this. I don't have to fully change around our whole bedroom. I just don't have to do that right now. It's okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Having to reel myself in a little bit here, but there is
Yes.
something. So I mean, and this is very much an inner child part of me. A way that I would cope with stress and overwhelm growing up would be to rearrange my room. I loved to rearrange my room. That was just or like rearrange any space that I could. Something in that, the control of like, okay, I can control this space here,
Mhm.
was always a big deal for me. So I'm not surprised that in this in
You're
this
going back to
time,
that.
I'm totally going back to it. Yep. It makes
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Yes. Yes, but I love that you're understanding that and that it's helping you, right? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to
Yeah.
do things like that if it's helping
Right.
you feel more safe, you
Yes.
more in control of your
For sure.
situation. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Totally. And there is like this natural refresh that I think feels really good. Then to know that once baby's here, like, can really like relax into the space instead of feeling like we got to change this or fix that, or this is the project we've been wanting to do. Once they're all done, now I can, which I know is again, another nervous system for me is once I do the thing, then I'll relax. When really
Yes.
I'm literally saying I'm not stopping. There are still more things that I'm finding, but I'm trying to be very mindful and intentional to know like, okay, it's enough. It's enough. Right now, the biggest project is going through all the newborn stuff packed away and just getting all of that in its places, and we'll be
Oh,
set
wow. Which is
and
also
resting.
always fun, like getting that stuff out and like looking at the
Mm-hmm.
little clothes
I
and things like
know.
that.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
putting all those away. I was like, oh my gosh, I remember these, and can't believe we're gonna have a little tiny guy in them very shortly.
Yes.
So
I'm so
fun.
excited for you.
Thank you. I'm excited, tired, and excited at the
Yes.
same time.
Yes. And
And
so, oh, no, go ahead.
oh,
What?
the brain fog that I've been feeling is like tremendous this week. I know I've been telling you, and sometimes I'm like, oh, yep, I totally just like dropped the ball on so many things this week.
Yes.
But you know what? I'm doing my best. I'm showing up where it counts. Right now, I'm not missing meetings. I'm here. I'm doing
Which
that. But
is so much in and of
sure,
itself, right? I
but
mean,
so it's so interesting. Like my to-do list feels like usually it's very clear where it is, but it's like floating in the air. And sometimes I'll grab something. I'll be like, oh right, gotta get that baby shower present for I gotta do this. But it's all just floating in the air in a way that feels more disorganized for my normal, but fair, right? I can't expect anything else right now.
yes. And just remembering that is just a part of it and that it's not going
Yeah,
to be forever and that it's
yeah,
okay. You know, I
totally.
think that that was such
Exactly.
a reminder that I always needed was just in that chaos, whether it's
Right.
right before the baby, right after the baby, just
Mhm.
remembering like, oh, it's not going to be like this forever. It's okay.
Yeah. So true. So true. And like it goes so fast. Like watching some of my friends that have had babies this year, wow, it felt like that newborn stage lasted forever, but like realistically, the amount of shifts that happen in the course of just months and 1 year is so quick.
It's so
Yeah.
that's so true. That's so true. And then even like as a mom with all kids who are now school aged, I just think,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I really thought that my house would be super messy for forever. I really
Yeah.
thought like I would never be able to get like above water. And now I'm like, oh no, that was totally just a season. And
Yeah. Right.
yeah, it doesn't feel as scary when you know it's really just a season and it's so short
Mm-hmm.
and it's
I
not going
know.
to last forever.
It's true. So we're
Yeah.
gonna soak it up. Absolutely.
Yay. Okay.
Yay. All right. Well, I know this week we wanted to talk a little bit about inner child and especially how our
Yes.
inner child shows up in our relationships. And I know a lot of people listened into our episode on friendship and how our inner child shows up there, and I think it's going to be great to explore how our inner child wounds show up in all of our other types of relationships and what
Yeah.
happens there. And so I'm curious when I even say that, right? Like inner child in your relationships, like what immediately comes to your mind for you?
Immediately comes to my mind is she wreaks a lot of havoc in she has wreaked a lot of havoc in my relationships, in my past relationship, in my present relationship, you
Uh-huh.
know?
Yeah.
And I think when we talked about friendships, you know, we talked about mother wound. And I think it is
Mm-hmm.
really complicated when there is wounds from both attachment figures,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so I think it's a very real thing that moving forward in any kind of an intimate relationship whatsoever is going to be extremely challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with my inner child, I've had to do a lot of tending to her in those moments of fear,
Yeah.
vulnerability, wanting to run, wanting to fight, wanting
Yeah.
to shut down, and that has been probably one of the best things about being in a long-term relationship and in
Mm-hmm.
such a, you know, my husband and I we have been married for almost 14 years. And I think that there's just such a healing that comes when you are in a secure relationship and that it really opens up your scope to where does need healing. So prior to my husband, I don't think I was aware of how many wounds I actually had and how many
Yeah.
triggers I actually and what really needed tending to. And so I think
Uh-huh.
being in that secure relationship really just opened my eyes in such a way of just like, wow, I was really deeply impacted. And if
Yeah,
I want to maintain this relationship, I am going to have to regularly do work, regularly do
totally.
practices of tending to myself, and then like regularly be in therapy, working through a lot of
Hmm.
these triggers.
Totally. I'm so curious in the I love the like image of the wreaking havoc part of you. I'm
Yes.
so curious how did that come out dynamically? What patterns did you notice inside of romantic relationships before your husband?
Yeah, so I actually just made a post about this. We talked about it a little bit about
Mm-hmm.
splitting in CPTSD, and a lot of people were like, splitting doesn't happen in CPTSD. Splitting only happens in BPD. Splitting only happens in DID. And
Hmm.
I'm curious your take on that. But for me, splitting did show up with CPTSD because when you have that primary caregiver who
Yeah.
is both abusive and nurturing and loving, it really does something to your parts. Okay, so when I think of it, I'm not even thinking about my brain. I'm thinking of like the parts that develop from that.
Hmm.
And I am thinking of how there's a protective part that is
Right.
like, do not fuck with me, right? Like there is a part, a protective part
Yes.
that's like, no one is going to make you feel bad. No one is going to make you feel abandoned. No one is going to make you feel rejected. And if they do, I am going to show up and I am going
Hmm.
to protect you, right?
Yeah.
And then I think of the other part, the vulnerable part, the part that's like, why are you hurting me? Or
Yeah.
why am I not worthy of love? Why is someone going to abandon me again? Why is someone going to hurt
Mhm.
me again? Right. And so,
Yeah.
how that little part really shows up like when there's just even a very minor trigger of it, right? Like, so it's not like the
Uh-huh.
person is actively abusive. It's not like the person is actively even neglectful,
Right.
but that's something that they're doing. It could be it's a very normal conflict in any kind of
Hmm.
relationship, right? That
Totally.
triggers that little part that feels
Hmm.
abandoned or rejected or
Totally.
afraid of not
Yeah.
being worthy of love or being hurt again, that
Yep.
then this protective part really shows up and is like, I'm going to attack.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that for me is the way that I think about splitting. And it
Uh-huh.
looks different in CPTSD than BPD. I mean, those are often very comorbid, right?
Right.
But I think it occurs in both. And the
Yeah.
reason why is because you have to develop those parts in order to
Of
keep yourself safe.
course. Yeah. I mean, to me, it feels so obvious that it occurs in
Yeah.
both. And because, again, even
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'm such a, when we put labels, like I'll tell clients all the time, sometimes I really feel like the specific labels can do more harm than good. Because again, there's so much overlap between them that is all so rooted in the same wounds, right? Like it's just, it
Yes.
comes from the same root, the same place. And
Absolutely.
so it makes so much sense. And I think that's so great to point out the protective part, the kind of the part that gets mad, the part that's probably going to fight and react and say how dare you. That usually is obviously covering and yeah, masking the really vulnerable, sad, scared, vulnerable, fearful part. And I imagine that probably, if we like use a real world example, would you say it's something like, let's say a boyfriend with the concept of maybe they didn't call when they were supposed to, or
Yeah.
something where like just the act of not calling triggers the part that's like, well, you're abandoning me. Right? If you're not meeting my
Yeah.
need, you're not doing what you're supposed to, then somehow wound activated and then you get really angry in response. Would
Yeah.
you say like that's kind of the dynamic that would play out?
Absolutely. And I think like, so one thing that came up for me a lot. So in the past, I had never had a long-term relationship because of this. So
Hmm.
I would date someone for 6 months,
Totally.
but the way that it showed up for me, that's very interesting, is it wasn't always something they did even that made me feel abandoned. Or maybe it was, but like what it would do, what this protective part would do would like give me the ick essentially. Like if I
Ah.
could have a crush on someone for like a long time and I would build this person up in my mind, and it was like the
Mhm.
challenge of being able to get them to want me, to like me, to be interested in me. And then the minute that they would be interested in me, I would be like disgusted, like, oh, what's wrong with that guy? Okay,
Right.
weird loser. So that I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that that would be an example per se of
Ooh.
splitting, but I feel like that's
Mhm.
one way that that protective part would show up, just to keep me
Yeah.
from any deep intimacy whatsoever. So I pretty
Right.
much get disgusted or the ick, or like feel like someone was like a loser if they
If
were even
they were
interested in me
right, like showed
at some
availability, right? Of like, hey, I want to be
yes.
with you. Yeah, it's so interesting, right? Like how your
Yes.
nervous system couldn't take it in. Right, like couldn't
Yes.
even like take in someone being again present saying I like you, I want to be here with you, and
Yeah,
that
like,
you're
okay, do you have mental health issues? Like, what? No, no,
I
no,
feel
I'm not,
you.
there's nothing wrong with somebody who has mental health
Yeah,
issues, but you know what I
no,
mean? Like, it
it's
would always be
true.
like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
And so that was one way that showed up. But like, I think
Mm,
the other way that it would show up is they wouldn't even necessarily have had to like not call me or not do something.
mm-hmm.
It's the way I perceived a situation. So say so this came up for me a lot in parenting with my
Mm-hmm.
husband, because I was the default parent and stuff like that. When
Sure.
I would feel like I was doing a lot and a lot of stress was on me and I felt trapped in just like the trenches of parenthood. And
Yep.
he would be working or something, and poor guy's not doing a thing wrong, like he's a good dad. But in my mind, I am
Yeah.
like, I'm all alone. Like, nobody cares about me. Nobody wants to
Yes.
help me. Right. So then that's
Right.
when that split kind of happens. And that's when it's like,
Yes.
okay, well, then maybe I should just end this right now,
Yeah.
or that type of thing. So it's
Uh-huh.
more about
Right.
the way I perceive a response or the
Mm-hmm.
way I perceive behaviors, and then
Right.
like where that sends my nervous system to whether or not this protective part is going to come out.
Sure, sure. Oh, it's such a great way to frame it and such a great example too. And especially the feeling which is so common. I hear this all the time of like I should just end it because that's your nervous system
Yeah.
wanting some relief. Like relief in the way
Yeah.
that you only knew, which was to probably isolate, right? Be hyper independent, do your own thing.
Yeah.
Like when you
That
would
was so much
see
safer. Yeah,
yeah,
so
when
much
your inner
safer.
child knew, okay, mom and dad are not going to meet my needs here, the thing that brings relief and comfort is that I'll just go over here and do it myself. And that's the hardest thing for anybody with deep inner child wounds inside of especially romantic relationships is oh my god, how do I stay when my nervous system is flooded? How do I learn to stay when I might not trust that the other person can meet my needs or meet me where I am? Because I know the biggest thing too is like, I don't want to be at the one that has to do all the emotional work, right? Like to bring it up and to
Yeah.
talk about it and to do the right thing. I hear this all the time
Yeah.
with clients and identify with that too of like, oh, why am I always the one like coming together to make it better, to work on it, to talk through it, right? Because it's that little part, that inner child that's saying like, oh my God, will you finally just take care of me and attune to me
Yes.
and and
Yes.
like show and like see what I'm feeling and not make me have to tell you and
And
just
care,
calm it.
yes,
Right.
and attune to me.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think everybody, like, at the root of all of this, it's like, I just need you, right? I just need your attunement. But what is so hard in romantic relationships is that everybody is like looking at one another through their own inner child wounds, like needing attunement at the
Oof.
same time, which is
Yes.
so hard because someone has to go first, right? To
Ah,
attune to the other
yes.
person. But
Absolutely.
it's
And
tough.
when you're shut down or those protective parts do come up, you're both
Hmm.
reacting. Like, I
Yeah.
think it was Terry Real. He's a therapist. Do you know Terry Real? He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's actually on social media a lot now. And I'm like,
Love it.
wow, he's rocking it. Cause he's like one
Yeah.
of the old therapists.
Sure.
And he talks about how like him and his wife would get into fights or whatever. I was like, at this point,
Hmm.
we're not even fighting about the situation. We're both
Yeah.
little kids fighting our past trauma, right?
Absolutely.
And
Oh my God.
that's so often
Hmm.
what happens. And I
Oh yeah.
think too, just being in relationship in and of itself is triggering. So like
Yeah.
somebody had commented on my splitting post about like anybody who's causing you to look up apartments or like causing you to do this or think about
Mhm.
leaving doesn't deserve you anyways. And I'm like, girl, that's like a regular occurrence. Like it's not the person or
Right.
what the person's doing. It's
Right.
about
It's
what
what's
the
coming up in
feeling
you.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
that comes up inside of you.
Mhm.
And
Totally.
so I think one of the biggest moments that happened with my husband and I that was really healing. So like when this happens, learning how to work with it and learning how to do the opposite of what I guess your protective
Mm-hmm.
part is telling you to do
Yeah.
can be incredibly healing for your nervous system because you get to learn that there's like a new
Yeah.
experience, right? So those are really the
Totally.
opportunities
Yeah.
that bring the most healing is when we are in these emotional flashbacks and we are triggered
Uh-huh.
and we allow ourselves to receive in a way that we never could have received before,
Right.
right? Would
Ooh,
you
so true.
say,
I agree. Yes. I remember when my husband and I's pattern, right? Like every couple has like the same kind of fight or dynamic that you come back to that is right so rooted in your inner child wounds and responses. And
yes?
and for us, right, like it took years, like years to like
Oh,
really
same.
work through it to a point where it's like not not really a thing anymore. But it would be moments where he would retreat if he was feeling sad or down or low, and he would retreat, and he would cope with those emotions by isolating, or right, like going to his room, like just kind of being alone. Where if that was something I would feel, right, I would cope with those emotions by doing, right, by over functioning, by doing more, and just taking that feeling and doing something with it. Like I couldn't fathom the way that he would right cope with those emotions because it was so opposite of me. And then my inner child would code that if he needed to isolate, I would code that as emotional abandonment. I'm like, okay, well, now you're going away from me, you're abandoning me. And then I'd get angry. And then my anger would trigger his inner child, the little boy in him who was afraid that his mom would get angry with him. And then it would make him shut down further. And then I would get more frustrated. And so I started to name, like in the moments where like we just really weren't hearing each other, I would start to say, right now, I really feel like I want to walk out the door. And I wouldn't do it. Like
Yeah.
I really started to learn of like, okay, this is how I'm doing something different, but I'm going to name it because this is what my body is telling me to do. Because we all have those reactions that when our nervous system is triggered and activated and the wound is activated, it actually would feel relieving for me to like walk out the door and slam it, right? Like that actually would
Yes.
release something. And like, obviously, like logically, I know that's not healthy. It's not a healthy way to go about it, but I just had to start naming it. This is what I want to do. But then I would name it, and then obviously I would stay, right? I would stay. And
Yeah.
like it would start to actually give me the same kind of release of just naming it. This is what's going on for me right now, but I'm
Yes.
staying. And even in just that act would like like bring the temperature down,
Yeah.
because he could see I am noticing my response and I'm staying with you. I'm staying here. I'm staying present. I'm not leaving. He's not going to experience the abandonment that he might fear. And then that would always kind of bring us to a point of like hearing each other more deeply, of understanding like, okay, I hear you. I see that's what's happening for you. And I understand. Right after enough times, he could verbalize, I know that me having a hard time today or me isolating and retreating today triggered the abandonment wound in you. I'm sorry for that. I'm just having a hard time. And then I could say, and I know I got upset, right? My anger triggered something for you, and that's not what I intended. I was just feeling scared and overwhelmed. And so, right, I'm doing better to stay present and to calm. And like that, that's how, again, with enough repetition, we've really worked hard
Yes.
to heal again in relationship together. But again,
Yes.
so not easy to do
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
at
And
all.
narration is something I will talk to my clients a lot about because
Mm-hmm.
narrating your internal experience is so incredibly helpful. You just hit it
Yeah.
spot on. Like, I'll be like,
Yeah.
they're like, so what should I do? I was like, well, have you ever just tried explaining what's happening inside of
Yeah.
you? Like, something
Right.
is, like, this is
Uh-huh.
what I want to do. I'm really upset and I'm shutting
Yeah.
down and I feel really angry towards you and I feel it in my body
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
I want to do this. Just being able to narrate through what's
Yeah.
going on inside of you can be so
Mm-hmm.
insightful to your partner because when those protective parts do come out, they perceive it as rejection or abandonment
Right.
or an attack, right? And so when
Mm-hmm.
we're able to narrate that to them, then it's not as threatening. It's like, oh, it's not really
Exactly.
about me per
Right.
se. It's about what's happening inside of you right now.
Yeah. And if we go back to attunement, like that's you self attuning in the moment. Like you're
Oh,
attuning to yourself
yes.
and naming, this is what
Yes.
I'm feeling. This is what's going on. I see you. Right. And you're, when in naming that out loud, it's a way of that is such beautiful inner child healing moment of attuning to yourself, which then allows your partner who can't read your mind, who can't just know what's happening, to be able to see you and then follow suit and attune to you too. But it
Yes,
has to be led right by
absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
So,
And those
so
moments are just like we talked about, like very healing.
mhm,
I don't know. We can do so much inner child work. And this doesn't necessarily have to be healing that comes with a partner,
yeah,
but it has to come in relationship. So, like, when there is so much relational trauma, we have to teach our nervous system safety through relationship, through these
mhm,
things happening, through the trigger happening, and then us doing the opposite or attuning to ourselves or narrating to our partner
mhm,
and seeing it can turn out differently. It doesn't always have to end this way. And that is
right.
so powerful for our
Yeah,
body to learn.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's what turns the volume down on the response. And the goal is not to like lose the response altogether. There are still
Yeah.
totally moments where I'm going to get activated, my husband's going to get
Yes.
activated, but we just shorten the window, right? Like we shorten the window and the intensity of the reaction itself. We understand and have learned now through repetition that these moments actually end in connection and repair, versus our inner child who only learned that these type of moments end in isolation and disconnection.
Yes.
So the more that you
Yes.
finish the cycle and come back to repair, like again, I always say to all my clients, a healthy relationship is not the absence of conflict, it's the way you learn to repair and come back together.
So
That's everything.
true. Yeah.
That's what's rewiring the nervous system. So, but that was
Yes.
not, if I'm thinking pre my husband, on this end for my inner child, and I know I've named it before, having such a primary father wound. My God, dating, the concept of even talking about feelings inside of any potential romantic partnership was just like so not a thing, was so not something that I could do. It was something I would like avoid at all costs and just like hope, like, okay, I hope this works out, but I'm not going to tell you what I feel and I'm not going to tell you what I need. And right, I'm just going to sit here anxious, hoping that you continue to show me that you want to be with me or dating me. But oof, the amount of anxiety and tension that I would hold, like such an isolated experience I would have inside of the relational dynamic was, ugh, like I feel stressed even just like reconnecting to that part of me, how hard it was because everything that happened emotionally was so internal, like it was not shared. Did not
It's
know how
so
to share it.
masked. That's
Yeah,
what like comes up for me. It's
absolutely.
emotional masking,
Yeah,
and
totally.
for you, like it almost feels like you were afraid you were going to do something or say something
Yeah.
that was going to screw it up.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
did
Like,
you like if I have a feeling, if I have a problem with something, like I'm going to be abandoned or it's not going to
yeah,
work out or
totally. And I actually would, I mean, before my first like boyfriend in honestly like towards the end of college, I just did not have any sort of long-term partnership at all. If anything, it was, I always found, and actually even in high school, I always found I would build the closest relationships with someone who was my friend before.
yeah.
Like we had to be friends for a long time in order for me to ever like enter into an intimate relationship, because of course, right, like I, that was the only thing that could tell my nervous system like, okay, maybe I'm safe enough to step into this, maybe I can, like
Yes,
if it,
same. I
yeah,
would do that a lot. Platonic
right,
friendships felt really
uh-huh,
safe, but
yeah,
like I couldn't just jump right into like romantic
no,
relationships.
yeah,
That was
oh my
awful.
gosh, no
Horrible.
way. Right. Right. And of course, like these platonic friendships always would stay, like they would go in that direction and then stay very, like we still wouldn't, like we would know what's happening, but we wouldn't actually like talk about it or name it or like say, okay, our relationship is transitioning now between a friendship
Yes,
to
like friends
a
with
romantic.
benefits or something.
Oh yeah. Like, and it would stay in
Yes.
that for so long. And then, and then eventually I'd get to the point of like, okay, I can't take this anymore. Either be my boyfriend or not. and then eventually it got to a point with when we're like, he was like, okay, let's do it. And I was like, great. That was actually like a big, me being able to name it was a big healing moment. and
Yes.
then being able to have that experience. But we lived on opposite sides of the country, and like it just was not
Oh,
going
well,
to
then how did you guys end up meeting? Like, how did this relationship even start?
this was college, right? This was college
Oh,
friend. And so
okay.
by the time we got to the point of like, let's do it, he had already moved back across the country. I was still in New York. And but of course, right, like that's also something for me with more of an anxious attachment, is that any
Yeah,
sort of like romantic anything would always happen with distance. Like there was some sort of
that's
distance
so
involved.
true. Yes.
Um, and of course, the distance in a way was a protective part of like, okay, like let's try it from afar,
You're
because
close, but not
actually,
too
like
close.
being too
Yeah.
close felt like too risky, too intense. So it was like, yeah, this like step into it, like dipping my toe in. And of course, when that relationship ended, not by my choosing, it was like, the most heartbreaking, heart-wrenching experience of my life at the time. And it was so hurtful because obviously like the thing I would fear the most, the reason why I would avoid relationships, was precisely this, like being
Yes.
rejected, abandoned, and oh, it hurt so deeply. And of course I was in a place where like he was the villain in the
Oh,
story,
yeah.
he was the bad guy,
You have to be in
like
that place, I feel like,
yeah,
to get
right.
through it.
And but now looking at it like from this lens, I'm like, yeah, I mean, he was right. He was totally right. Like this was not going to work. We were too young. Like if we were going to, like, it just would involve like too much intensity at a point that we weren't at, and we weren't ready to like to go towards marriage or anything. We were just getting started in our,
Yes.
professional lives. So like I would go back and say, I agree. I agree. That you are
Yes.
correct. But at that time, my inner child wound was so big and so upset. And so there was something actually in that though, of having to go through it
That's what I
relationally.
was gonna ask you. Yeah, like that
So
in and of itself is like figuring out that it can happen and you're
yeah,
gonna be okay.
I'm
Like
okay.
your
Right.
worst case scenario happened
Hmm.
and you
Yeah,
survived.
totally.
Not only did you
Totally.
survive, but you found your husband and
Yeah.
now you're pregnant with your
Right.
second
Oh
kid.
my God.
Like,
Yeah.
you know,
I know. Like that version of me would be like, oh my God, look at that. The thing I was so afraid would never
yes.
happen. Like, look at that. But it had,
Oh
like, I
yeah.
had to be vulnerable. Like I could have just spent a whole lot of time avoiding it and just being like, ooh, relationships feel too scary, so I'm not even going to do it. But the fact that I let myself be uncomfortable, to put myself into these situations, to
Yes.
be more vulnerable, to increase vulnerability romantically, is the only way I got what I wanted, which was,
Yeah.
right, a really like my best friend partner that I can be my full self with and to be great parents. Like it just, like that, I had to do that even though it was so uncomfortable and hard. And so I think that's
Yes.
an important piece to remind everybody too, that when our inner child wounds come out in relationships, it's uncomfortable. It's so
Yeah.
uncomfortable. And so
Yeah.
a lot of us maybe want to avoid it, but it's precisely in stepping into it and increasing and embodying that vulnerability, whether it results in the partner that's going to be our person forever or the partner that's going to break our heart, that it's all necessary experiences and all opportunities like to tend to those younger parts of ourselves and let us know like we're okay.
Yes. And I think
Yeah.
something that I'll do with my clients a lot and that I've even done too when it comes to those parts that are so afraid of being abandoned is let them know like it's so helpful to just go to those younger parts and let them know what are you afraid of? And
Yeah.
oftentimes my parts are like, I'm scared they're gonna leave. They're gonna leave
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be alone.
Right.
And just letting them know, like, I know that's so scary,
So scary.
but
Yeah.
I'm going to be with you through that and
Hmm.
I will not abandon you. And if that
Totally.
happens, we will get through it together.
Yeah.
And it's crazy what that does to those parts and how
I
it can
know.
suit them. Just
Yeah.
knowing, like, no matter what, I'm not going to abandon you.
Yeah.
We will
Right.
drive
I'm
off into
here.
the sunset. We will start over. We will do whatever the
Uh-huh.
heck we have to do, but we will get through it,
Right.
baby girl, and
Yeah.
we will be okay.
Be okay. Totally.
Yeah.
And you know how that actually even still has to happen when you are in like the right
Uh,
relationship, and
yes.
the fear
Yes.
of like, what if something happens to them, right? Like that's, I have to do
Yeah.
that all the time. I have to say,
Yes.
we're okay, we're good. We will be sad
We'll
if
figure it
something ever
out.
happens. We
Yeah.
will be devastated and sad, and we'll be here. We'll be okay. We'll move through
Yeah.
it. We'll feel through it, and yeah, we're gonna be just fine. But that is just, yeah, is such an important act to do, of tending to do to yourself.
Yeah,
Truly.
because I do think the part that feels like life will be over and there will be no hope is a younger part because
Oh yeah.
when we felt that abandonment, whether it was physically or emotionally, and we were kids, like there was disconnection does feel like we won't survive. And
Sure
so
does.
being able to remind ourselves, like, oh no, like we're grown and we
Yeah.
will get through it. It will hurt and it would be
Yeah, it
horrible. And
sucks.
that's not the thing that I want
Right.
ever. And
Yes.
we'll figure it
Uh-huh.
out because we're
Totally.
scrappy and we
Yeah.
got through it and we're good.
And yeah, so much in even just saying, this will suck, this will hurt, and this is hard. Like
Yeah.
that attunement, again, back to attunement of just saying, this is
Oh,
your inner experience right now. And I'm with you in it, right? You're not alone in it.
yes.
And just ugh, feeling so
Yeah.
seen in it relieves something, right? It does make you feel like, okay, I'm seen. So therefore this emotion is not going to swallow me whole, right? I can name it and feel it and be with it, and we're going to move through it because we have
Yeah.
so many examples of us doing that in the past. So
Yes. Yeah.
I'm so curious with your husband, what I know that you've named some moments of healing, inner child healing with him. What were like some of the initial moments where you were like, "Oh, this is different. Like this is different. You're not going to be the one that activates or plays out the same wounds that maybe my inner child is afraid of."
Yeah. So I think my husband is such a sweetheart. I love that guy, man. He's such a gentle but strong man. He's the
Uh-huh.
perfect combination for me. And the thing that came up, the main situation that came up where my splitting like was really bad was
Yeah.
when I was newly postpartum with my third, and it was during COVID, and I was graduating with my master's.
Oh my god.
And I was graduating like in May and COVID happened, everything shut down and
Right.
everything
In
like in
March.
March. And I had my baby in March. And my husband was supposed to get a month off of work and he was in the reserves at the time. And so
Oh.
he had taken the month off work. Well, when COVID happened, the Army did field hospitals all over the place. And my husband's unit got deployed. And he found out he was getting deployed maybe like 2 days after I'd had my son. And I'm still
No.
finishing my master's degree, right?
Yeah.
Like I still had some stuff to do to like finish up.
Yeah.
I was pretty much finished, but like I had a few
Right.
things like I needed to wrap up
Sure.
after having my
Uh-huh.
son. And you can't say no if you get deployed.
Obviously.
Like there's
Right.
nothing my
You gotta go.
husband could do, but it
Right.
didn't matter to me because I 100% felt so abandoned. I was just
Oh.
like,
Hmm.
I can't survive this. I have 3 kids. I am
Yep.
trying to finish my master's degree. And also just this was supposed to be my moment of like, I finished my master's degree. I just had a
Yes.
baby. I'm going to be
Right.
tended to. He's taking a month off. I'm going to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And so when he had to leave, it was like the day after my birthday too. I was like, "Jeez, what the
No.
heck, man?"
Right.
So when he had to leave, I was just like, all the kids were sleeping and it was like nighttime. And I was like, I will never forgive you for this. We are over. I'm done.
Yep.
And that protective part was just like there,
Sure.
was just like, I'm filing for divorce. You're not going to
Yeah.
have like a
Yeah.
wife to come back to. And I go
Sure.
into the room, go into our room just to be alone, right? Like, cause that's how I always dealt with everything. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to see you. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like hurting so
Yeah.
bad, but I was just like, whatever. I hate this guy. Ugh.
Right. Yeah.
And I hate it, but I love him. But and I like
Right.
went out to the the living room and my husband was like writing me a letter and the letter was just like, I don't want to do this life without you. I love you so much. I'm so
Oh,
sorry that I have to
I
leave you.
know.
And so I
Yeah.
just told him
Oh.
like, I'm so sorry. Like I don't want to divorce you.
I
I'm
totally.
just hurting so bad right
Yeah.
now. And he was like, I
Totally.
know, like, I know you're hurting so bad. And he was just
Yeah.
like, can I hold you? And I was like, yes. And we went into the room and he just like held me on the bed for like 20 minutes. And I just like sobbed like a
Yeah.
child, like, just like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
my gosh, like, how am I going to do this? I'm so scared. What is
Of
going to happen?
course.
Like,
Right.
and
Right.
he just comforted me and I
Oh,
allowed him to comfort me. And that
wow.
moment was just so healing because it was like,
Yeah.
oh no, like not everybody wants to leave, first of all.
To leave.
Not everyone is
Exactly.
going to leave. And
Right.
they can hold space for your emotions and your grief, which was
Yes.
something that was never like.
Right.
practiced
Never
for me and
done.
shown to
Right.
me. And
And
so that was really powerful. And I think it did a
oh,
lot for healing that part of me. And
oh
I
yeah.
haven't really been in that space like since. So I think it also
Sure.
did
Yeah.
something in my
In
relationship
your
with my husband. Like,
dynamic.
I'm not going to just be like, I'm going to leave and I'm going to,
Yeah.
ride off in the sunset and never see you
Right.
again. And
Yeah.
let's just end this. Like, I can
Yeah.
actually share how I'm feeling
Yeah.
genuinely and it can
Right.
be
That
received.
narrating. Like it's what you did, right? You said, I'm really hurting right now. I'm just really hurting right now. And how
And I'm
you
really
being able to
scared.
narrate that, yeah, like
Yeah.
invited him in, right? To then say, here, how can I meet you there? How can I support you there? How can I literally hold you there? Wow. What a
Yeah.
powerful, such a powerful example of
Yeah.
whew, the trigger, right? The emotional response,
Whew,
and
yeah.
then the repair. Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
How
Oh,
about for you? Can you share a moment? I know we're like, I
yeah. I
really
know
want to
we're
hear one of
almost,
yours. Like,
yes. I honestly, like, it was my first date with Mike that I sensed something was different. We, I was at the point in dating at that point. This was actually like after my dad had come out, and I would like go on dates, and I would mostly I was like, all right, I'm at a place now where I'm going to see like who can emotionally like stay with me in this, like if I'm to share these parts of myself, like I had done enough work at that point where I was just like really ready to like, I'm going to share all of me, and then if you're the right fit for me, like you're going to be someone that can stay and stay engaged, and if you can't, like bye. Because I had,
ooh, okay. So I love
yeah,
that. Like, we'll have to talk
yeah,
about how that transition happened too, maybe on
yes,
another episode, but I love those
totally,
transitions.
because there was a relationship in between the college one and then Mike that was with someone who was way more emotionally unavailable, that did not start as a friendship. It was more like we were dating, like we started dating. Actually, I met him very close to after my dad came out. And anyway, so I think there was a big component there where I
Oh,
was like working
yes.
some stuff out. But I worked a lot out, I think, inside of that relationship in terms of letting myself feel more comfortable and confident to just express how I feel and be myself and like put it out there and know what I want and need and deserve. And so in that date, I shared everything, and I remember him just like reaching over and like grabbing my hand and being able to say like, wow, that's really hard. That was a lot that you've gone through. And I was like, ooh, okay. All right.
Oh,
I see you.
that's,
Points.
yes. I love that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. And I
Mike,
was like,
way to
yeah,
go.
I know.
Okay.
Great move. And then, and he was vulnerable too. He could right away like share, the vulnerable parts of him and his story, and like in this way that, that reciprocal vulnerability that happened, where I was like, okay, great. You can name your emotions. You can reflect and have insight on how you feel. Like those
So
two
important.
things to me were like safety. Like, okay, you can be,
Yes. Green
you're
flag.
a safe person. Yeah. And just, he just is such a kind soul, like very outgoing and funny. And just that, all of that inside of him was just felt so safe. And again, so opposite of the father wound, which again was very much of kind of more flat, withdrawn, emotionally unavailable man. He was the opposite. I remember when my grandma was alive and she got to meet and know Mike, and she'd be like, he's just so chatty. I've just never met a guy as chatty as
Oh.
him. Which like was to me like was affirming of that. Like, yeah, like he does not represent like the typical male figure in our family who, in the very Irish Catholic Chicago kind of style, was not so emotionally open and and communicative. Like he could chat with
Yes.
anyone, and that's what I love so much about him too. Like all of it like right away signaled safety to my nervous system. And honestly, to the point where like we moved in together after like 6 months, which is, in New York not unheard of, because it just
You need to.
yeah, financially it made sense.
Rent. Yes.
um but it just, I could feel it, right? Like I didn't have to question it. There was never a point where my insecure protective parts were triggered. He was just there, communicative, open. It just physically could feel the difference and just kind of knew.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful. And what a beautiful way
Yeah.
to break the cycle that's really been
Totally.
in your family for so many
Hmm.
generations. And like now your boys are being raised by a man who's
Yes.
just so different from that. And that's just really
Yes.
powerful, you know?
Yeah. I actually had a moment this morning with Michael when he was getting out of the car at the sitters. He looks at me and he goes, I just have the silliest dada. I was like,
Oh
you
my
do.
gosh. I love
And
that.
that
That's
was
so
I connected to that
precious.
same part of like, I love that is his experience, right? Of his dad, just so silly and
Yes.
playful. So
That's
really, really
beautiful.
sweet. Yeah.
So great. Oh,
Well,
I love
I
that.
know there is so much more. We will, I'm sure, continue on the conversation
Yes.
of how all of our wounds come out in relationships. But I think this was so nice to hear both of our
Yes.
experiences and our stories and how they have shifted and evolved to where they are today.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. So good.
Such good stories.
Yeah. And so tell me, what's saving your life this week?
What's saving my life this week is, how about you go first? I need a minute
Okay.
to think. I didn't
Yes.
think of it ahead of time.
I know. I know. This is, let's see, what is saving my life this week? I mean, this is so basic, but iced coffee, like it's just really grounding me every morning. Like, and I have like a great combo of my own like concoction in the fridge because there was a while that I would be like, I'm just gonna go to Starbucks or I'm just gonna do this. And I was like, no, I can make it at home. I can do it at home. So I
Yes. I've been
got
trying
my
to do
little
that too.
yeah,
So
got
you
my
got
little
fun stuff?
combo. Yeah,
Okay,
like one of those,
good.
you know, those foam that look like whipped cream. Like a whipped
Oh,
cream container that's
okay.
like cold foam.
I love
Yeah.
that. Wait, do you have
Yeah.
to make
So
that or you can actually just buy it?
honestly, yeah, you can literally just buy it in like a whipped cream can, but it says like cold foam on it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try
Yeah,
that.
I know. And honestly, like I look forward to
Fancy.
it every morning. Like it's just like such a great grounding way to start the day. And yeah, so I'm gonna take that as something really nice to ground me each day.
Yes, I love that. And when I think about what's saving my life, I think about the Ritz Carlton
Yeah.
last week. And I
Yes.
think my Marriott points have been saving my life this year because I've been able
Oh,
to travel a lot without
yes.
having to spend money. And of course, I mean, I spent money, but not
Yeah.
as much. I've always wanted to stay at Ritz Carlton my whole life. That's like an inner child
Hmm.
dream. So the fact that I
The
could use
dreamer, right?
exactly. After we talked about that, and I went there and I
Hmm.
was just like, I was really taking it in and I was like, I want
Yeah.
life like this more often. And I'm
Yes.
taking in and I'm opening up and I'm just going to let my inner child rest and play here. And so I think that really
Love it.
just saved my life. And it really also just got me like really ambitious and ready to work and wanting to come back in full swing.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, I think that
I
really saved my
love
life.
it.
I needed it
Oh,
because I was
so
so burnt out.
good. Uh-huh. Yep. Oh yeah. Oh,
Yes.
I'm so glad. So glad that you got it. So
Yeah.
nice.
Yes.
Great.
So
Well,
good to see you.
I know. So good to see you. And we'll look forward to being back here next week.
See you next week, guys.